Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. In this lesson, we are going to discuss about the code related to the ordering of values. So here we can take any array in which we will be storing the values that user will enter. So we can take the number of values as n. So before I'm taking number of values as n, we can give some random value to number of values that is n. So let's suppose I'm taking it as 30. So you can give it to 100 or 150 or 200. That is the maximum number of values that the user can enter. Okay, after that what we are going to ask the user that how many values are there. So we can ask him to enter number of values. And now as the user will give us the number of values, so what we can say, what we can do that we can assign this value to n. Now the new value of n will be equals to the number of values that user is going to enter. Now after that, now we are going to ask him to enter all the values. So the message is enter values, and now here the user will enter the values. So we need to write a loop here to store all the values in the array. I'm taking the looping variable as x, so it is equals to 1. We have to declare here x as integer equals to 1, and now the array is starting from 1 and it will goes up to n, and here I'm writing x plus plus. Commonly people used to arrange to number the array from 0. So if you are starting from 0, the upper limit will be n minus 1. Like here the condition will be x less than n, or you can write x is less than equals to n minus 1. Now I'm going to write, I'm writing here the command cin and here a of x, because the looping variable is x. The body close. Okay, now the next thing is to arrange. Okay, after till this point we have stored the values in the array. Now after that, the next thing is to arrange the values in order. So if I'm going to write the code for ascending order, I'm taking here again the variable x is equals to 1. Okay, as I'm taking x in both loops, so I need to write it here in top. X will be the other looping variable. Okay, fine. Now here after that, now I'm going to write the conditional statement. So x is less than equals to n, and now the increment x plus plus. Now we are going to start the body. As what is the basically idea that we are going to use in the or the concept that we are going to use is that basically that I will take the first value as the minimum value, and after that I will be comparing the rest of all values of the array with that minimum value. If any of the value is less than minimum value, so we will say that the less value is actually the minimum. So here I'm going to take the first one. I'm just writing here minimum is equals to a of x, because we suppose that the first value is basically the minimum value. And after arranging the most minimum value at the first place, we will be comparing the rest of values, that is from second to nth position. So जब हम second से nth position तक compare करेंगे तो the second position value will be the minimum that we will suppose. इसी तरह से जब second भी arrange हो जाएगी तो we will consider only the array from 3 position to n minus 1, or we can say n if we are taking n as the number of values. Okay, now I'm going to write here the inner loop. So it is for, I'm taking the variable as y, and we are going to start it with x plus 1. Why we are writing x plus 1? Because because if I am considering the first one as the minimum, I'm going to compare it from the second value onward. If I'm taking the second as the minimum, I will be comparing it with the third value onward. So that's why we are going to take it as x plus 1. Okay, now next is y is less than equals to n, and here I'm writing y plus plus. Okay, now we are going to start the body of this function, and it is, now I'm going to check if my minimum value, the value that I have taken as minimum, is greater than some other value. If it is greater than some other value, then what should be done? Then the minimum value must be that one. So a of y, ठीक है. अगर आपकी मिनिमम वैल्यू ग्रेटर होगी ए वाई से, तो इसका मतलब है ए वाई कोई छोटी वैल्यू है, तो उसको हम मिनिमम को असाइन कर देंगे. I need to keep track of the minimum value, ठीक है. So if I am going to keep the track of the minimum value, the index in which the minimum value is present, so I am labeling it with I, ठीक है. अब इस पॉइंट पे क्या होगा, आपके पास y की वो वैल्यू, y वो वैल्यू है जो कि हमारे पास बेसिकली इंडेक्स है, जिस इंडेक्स पे हमारे पास मिनिमम वैल्यू present है. So see, I have used here the variables y and I, so I need to mention it here in the start of the program as well. Okay, now after if statement, the for bracket will be closed, and now after that what I'm going to do, I am going to swap the values. Like which values will be swapped? f a of y is the minimum value, now it is in minimum. और अगर हम इसको फर्स्ट टाइम रन करें और लेट सपोज आपके पास स्मॉलेस्ट वैल्यू थी, वो थर्ड या फोर्थ पोजीशन पे आपको मिल गई है, you need to shift it on the very first place, and the value present at the very first place will be shifted on that particular value with the index I. So I am going to write here, basically to keep the track of this index I, we need to have I equals to 0, ठीक है. हम यहाँ पे ऊपर स्टार्ट में लिख देते हैं I is equals to 0. अब अगर I यहाँ पे हमने स्टार्ट में 0 ली है और अभी पूरी वर्किंग के बाद आपके पास कोई और मिनिमम वैल्यू आ गई है, इन केस कोई और वैल्यू आ गई है, तो अब I में क्या आ जाएगा, उसका इंडेक्स आ जाएगा. तो अगर I की वैल्यू हमारे पास यहाँ पे 0 नहीं है, इज़ नॉट इक्वल्स टू 0, then it means that there is some other minimum value and we need to exchange. लेकिन अगर आपके पास I की वैल्यू 0 रहती है, तो इसका मतलब है कि जो हमारे पास ऑलरेडी फर्स्ट पोजीशन पे नंबर लिखा है, दैट इज़ द स्मॉलेस्ट नंबर, एंड वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू डू एनी चेंजिंग हियर. सो आई एम गोइंग टू टेक अ टेम्पररी variable in which temporarily we will store the value. So temporary a of x, ठीक है. अब ए ऑफ एक्स वो वैल्यू है जो कि हमने स्टार्ट में मिनिमम सपोज की थी, लेकिन अब वो मिनिमम नहीं रही, तो हमने उसको उठा के टेम्प्रेरी में रखा है. और अब जो हमारे पास फर्स्ट प्लेस है, ठीक है, उस प्लेस पे हमारे पास क्या आ जानी चाहिए, वो वैल्यू आनी चाहिए जो अब मिनिमम है. सो इट मीन्स आई एम गोइंग टू राइट हियर मिनिमम, एंड नाउ द प्लेस वेयर द मिनिमम वैल्यू वॉज प्रेजेंट, इट इज़ बेसिकली ए ऑफ आई. सो इस प्लेस पे हमने किसको फिक्स कर देना है, टेम्पररी को. द टेम्पररी वैल्यू विल बी स्टोर्ड हियर. नाउ what I am going to mention in the start, I have taken the variable temp, so I also need to write here temp. Okay, till this point, okay, close the bracket for the body of f. If body stopped here, it is, and now this bracket is for this for loop, and after this, when we will be out of the for loop, that is at the from the line 16 to 34, जब इस body से हम बाहर आ जाएंगे, तो it means our array is arranged in order. Now what we need to do, we need to display it on screen, ठीक है. So I am going to write cout statement for it, and we will write here ascending order, and we need to write here a loop, because as we are having array, तो array की printing के लिए आपके पास loop होना चाहिए. हम already जो looping variable x और y यूज़ किए, उन्हीं में से कोई एक यूज़ कर सकते हैं. So I am going to write here x is less than equals to n, and now here x plus plus, and inside this body what we are doing, we have only one statement, so I'm not putting here any bracket. See out, what we are going to print, a of x and L. Next line statement, that's all. So this is basically the initial starting main body bracket. Now I'm going to run this program. Okay, in the very start where I declared the variables, here I'm going to close this with semicolon, close this with semicolon. So here semicolon is missing. So I hope that I already have declared all the variables that I used there. We haven't written minimum. So after temp, I'm writing minimum. This is the variable that we used, but we haven't declared there. Okay, now I'm going to run this program. Enter number of values. So let's suppose I am going to enter 7 values. Now it is asking for the values. So let's suppose it is 45, 78, 23, 5, 89 and 34 and 26. Now see, ascending order 5, 23, 26, 34, 45, 78, 89. As you can see that the values that I entered are now arranged in the ascending order. So this is the way of writing the program to arrange the values in ascending order. You can write the program for descending order as well. So what we need to change only in the program is basically the maximum value, and where we have written the if statement that minimum must be if minimum is greater than a of y, there at that point you can write maximum is less than a of y. So I will also write the code for that maximum value program. Now I'm going to run the program for another values, 12 values, okay, for some big number of values. So you can see that it can be run for any count of values there. 23, then we have 7, then we have 100, then 56, then 259, then I have 324, then just 1, again also enter 0, 67, 567, 23. Now see the result, the values are already arranged. Now you can see that I entered 56 2 times and I also have entered 23 2 times. So you can see that at the place of 1 2 3 4 5 and 6 7 we have the repeating values because I entered that values twice. If you like the video, then press like button and subscribe the channel. Thank you.